Can Sarah and Kim, if I ask them for any updates, they can make?
Yeah, they just have to unmute on their computer and they'll be able to talk. We're still waiting to get the YouTube channel going for all of you that are waiting. Got it back. Scott just texted it. You're good to go. We can start whenever you
When
want.
in doubt, restart.
Alicia, are we ready?
You're ready. Thank you.
We'll call a meeting of the school board to order. Please rise and we will say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to everyone out in video land. Hope you're finally we can get our meeting going virtually. So we'll see. Do our best to cover everything here. Dr. Vollmer, a preview of the agenda.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, the agenda is accurate. Just kind of want to review a couple of pieces of protocol before we begin. When you're not speaking, please mute your mic. For our board members that are on, that will help any squelching. For those of you that are in the room, it's best to make sure that your external speakers on your laptop are off. Excuse me, because otherwise that will cause some reverb as well. And as last time, I'll just reiterate that if you're going to make a motion or make a second, we ask that you say your name and what you're intending, whether it's a motion or a second. That will just help for those that are not in person to help President Ross then determine who made the motion or who seconded. So that's all I have.
Okay, we'll go right into special reports. COVID-19 update. I assume Dr. Vollmer, you have that?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, I am going to attempt here to share a PowerPoint with you. We'll see how this goes. Okay, are we sharing? It looks like we are sharing. This is just our monthly update on the COVID-19. We wanted to give you a little idea of where we are at and what efforts have been made by the school district. So I'm going to go through several things. I'm not going to talk graduation. Kim is going to talk about graduation in a bit here. But as far as elementary education, we're continuing on our distance learning plans. And we are using a pass-fail grade methodology for the fourth quarter for our elementary folks. Our counselors have developed many social emotional learning activities that are supporting our students and families. And those counselors continue with regular office hours and they are available to help families as well. And the principals continue to meet with Assistant Superintendent Slotsby on a regular basis to discuss issues that may arise. Secondary, again, we're following that distance learning plan. Principals have been working towards finalizing a grading plan for distance learning. That news will be coming out shortly. It is different in the secondary ranks because we're looking at students who are working towards GPAs and potential scholarships, college admissions. So the principals have been working through all of that, and there will be some news coming out there very shortly on that. Counselors too, the social emotional things that have been going are great. We did get a grant for $500 from the Minot Area Community Foundation to support some sources of strength activities in our secondary schools, which has been going well. So there's a lot of kids that are getting blizzards from Dairy Queen. That should be a nice treat for them for supporting sources of strength. The office hours are continuing. They look different. Secondary, Magic City, they're still writing a lot of letters of recommendation for college admission and helping students get everything done because that world continues even in the COVID-19 crisis. And the principals continue to meet with Assistant Superintendent Slotsby on a regular basis. And those have been very, very productive meetings for all of our principals. Our meal service, I'm proud to announce that as of today, we have served 218,008 meals to students. When a student receives a meal, they receive the lunch for that day and a breakfast for the next day. We finalized plans yesterday. We are going to continue offering this meal service through the month of June. And that will involve us either curbside pickup. We're going to scale that back a little bit. Our curbside side pickup will be available at the end of the school year, starting on the Tuesday after Memorial Day at Longfellow, Magic City Campus, Sunnyside, Washington, and then also Memorial on the Minot Air Force Base. In addition to that, we will continue to use the Transportation Department to deliver meals in specific areas in Minot and then on the Minot Air Force Base as well. So we're very, very pleased to see that continue. And we have got a lot of very positive feedback from families about that. Child care for emergency workers continue. We're roughly serving 30 to 35 each day. That is between our two sites of Lewis and Clark and Edison Elementary. That was done in conjunction with the city, and Mayor Sitma will be making some recommendations very soon in regard to the continuation of that program. And again, that was set up so we had a place for the children of emergency care workers to go so parents could work at Trinity. We have not seen huge hospitalizations through this process, and we have much more capacity than 30 and 35 a day, but we will be meeting with the city and making some final determinations on what that will look like moving forward. But that has been a wonderful program. We're very happy that Boyd and his crew was willing to take that on. Summer programming, we first of all, always believe we follow the recommendations that are set forth by the Department of Health, First District Health, and the Department of Public Instruction and the Governor's Office. At this time, we believe that the best plan we can put together, and the requirement eventually will come from the state, that summer school and extended school year programs are going to follow that distance learning model that we are right now. As of right now, the Governor's executive order stands that we're not allowed to have children in the school buildings and to operate schools. So we believe the final determination will say it'll be a distance learning model for the summer. And that frees up our transportation folks who normally would have been transporting students to and from school. So they will be assisting with meal delivery during that month of June as well. And when we talk about the meal delivery and service, that is right now what the feds are saying as far out as we can go on that. There is a possibility we could go further, but it will depend on the expectations that the federal government puts in place. And it's been, like I said, a great program for families. As far as program evaluation, simply put, what are we doing and how are we doing it? How well are we doing it? Secondary principals conducted a survey. Kim brought those results over a while back. Basically, I tried to pare it out. And the keys, 90% of middle school students felt that they're able to do the majority of the work. And that breaks out to students who said, I can do it easily, to students who said, I've been able to figure it out. 92% of high school students feel the same way. 40% of middle school students did report that they felt stressed with the distance learning model, compared to 37% of high school students that reported some stress in distance learning. In general, students at both levels are pleased with the rate of difficulty of completing assignments. On a scale of 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, they could rate the difficulty. The elementary or middle school average, I think, was a 5.7, was right in the middle there. They feel, you know, some of it was hard, some of it was easy, but in general, students felt that the work was doable for them. And Kim, I don't know if you want to add anything on that. It was pretty positive results.
I think so. When I've looked at it, I would say overall, we heard, we said what classes are difficult, and I don't think it came as a surprise that language arts and math were kind of hard to do independently. And the part that I guess I really appreciated was that I would expect that all of our social, teenagers miss their friends, but they also miss their teachers. So,
Yeah, it was a good result. We've also had many students who have conducted principal-led student focus groups. Probably the most pronounced group would be at Magic City campus, where they talk a lot about things like graduation and that senior year. And that's been a good process. I will also this week now be conducting parent focus groups. We had principals give us names of parents that will be reached out to now in the next day or so, and we'll do Google Hangouts again like we're here, and we'll have an opportunity to ask parents some questions, you know, and they're pretty basic. We'll have an hour for each group. The first question is what went well, second is what didn't go well, and the third is if you could fix one thing to make it better, what would that be? So that will help us evaluate our programming as well as the grades and all of the other information that we gather now at the end of the year. Future planning, beginning next week, we are going to use a blended model for some select meetings here in the district. That means by blended, meaning that we will have some people on site and other people that will be online. For those that are on site, all safety protocols and social distancing guidelines will be followed. And staff will be allowed to opt out. If they do not feel comfortable being in person, they will not be required to be there. So the things that we're focusing on is their major initiative work in the district, which helps us prepare for next year. Those include a couple of review and revisions for our curriculum and Marzano work, some standard reference grading work, social emotional learning activities. We've got a group that are working on getting some things finalized for that. Scales development and Kid Speak, again, part of our Marzano world. Pacing guide development, so we are ready to roll next year with and try to ascertain where kids are ending this year, because when we had our distance learning plans in place, it wasn't the same as having class every day and working through that. So we need to make sure that our core curriculum areas are ready to roll. And then we also have a group that's in the process of developing our assessment planning. So some of those groups will be starting to look at that blended model, so we're going to be rolling on that this week. As far as safety of staff and students, we will continue to follow all the guidelines set forth by the Department of Health and First District Health, who are taking their cue from the Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization. We'll continue to follow all of those safety guidelines, also and leave guidelines that are set forth in the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, which did allow for some additional leaves for families who were impacted by COVID-19. And we will work collaboratively with the Department of Public Instruction to develop a school reentry plan that meets all of our safety guidelines. And we do expect guidance coming from the state in the next couple of days, specifically saying what we need to do to prepare for 2021. Biggest issues with this is that we know that if we have to go into a period of distance learning in the future, that it is not going to be set like this year. We won't have 14 days to develop a plan. The idea is that knowing that coronavirus is real and knowing that there's a very real possibility that we could have a resurgence next fall, that we will be expected to be ready to roll with a plan on short notice. Other guidelines in general, and some of that discussion includes the idea that school closures might not be by district anymore, they might be by school. Could have a school that has some positive cases, whether among staff or students, and they might be closed for a period of time and using the distance learning model, where another school that doesn't have any cases might be operating as regularly scheduled. We're looking most likely at a tiered reentry system, which might require social distancing in classrooms depending on community spread issues, and would also include district transportation. So whether that would be a third of your kids at a time or a quarter of your kids at a time, you know, so you might have some at home on distance learning and some in the classroom. There's many things that have to be answered with that yet. Schools may be required to perform daily health screenings, including temperature checks as students come in. And the one thing we do know is that those distance learning plans will be expected to be ready for rapid implementation. So as we move that forward, I personally have some concerns. I think we have to develop a plan that is not going to have teachers expecting to be in front of students delivering a lesson and then having part of their students at home on a distance learning plan. But the good news of it is that we have time to develop this and time to gather information. And I think like many other things we have tackled as a school district, if we pull together and we do what we need to do, we're going to be just fine. It is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of our staff for the great work they've done in this process. It is amazing to me to watch the cool things that are happening out there and a lot of the positive implementation that we've seen. It has been unbelievable to see the appreciation shown to our graduating seniors who have been adopted now, for example, by many people in our community, or the teachers who are taking food to families and helping out, or families that are bringing treats to teachers. There's a lot of good things that are going on in our community, and I think that speaks well for our school and our community, and I'm very proud to be a part of that. In a nutshell, that's kind of where we're at. I will stand for any questions you may have, but I do want to again reiterate that when we talk about planning for next year, we have not gotten official guidance from anybody yet as to what that reentry looks like, but we are understanding that we will need to have a plan in place. Okay. So I'm having any good questions.
Board, any questions or comments or? Dr. Bowler, one thing that does, I guess it's one of the many concerns as we move along this process, but where, what I've heard, we keep hearing things change all the time, but where the kids, a lot of them are asymptomatic.
Mm-hmm.
And how will we deal with this? So this will be a moving target, I think, as we go through, and we'll see where we're at.
It really will, and Governor Burgum is heavily vested in the idea that we need to do regular testing, widespread testing in our communities. I believe that as time goes on and our testing capacity increases, that we will see more widespread testing and maybe even testing of school students. I don't know what that would look like. Right now, the immediate question that we were concerned of was whether or not we would be returning to school this school year. And Governor Burgum has answered that question. We're not coming back this year. There were some hiccups with graduation. That question has been answered. Kim is going to start talking about that here in a bit. But moving forward, we know that we're going to have a plan. And the good news is, the blessing is we have time to do that. So we will just continue for the health and safety of staff and students, continue to take those recommendations as they come.
For Dr.
Ms.
Tallman.
Schuler.
Thank you. So I know you touched on it, but the summer CLC program, I know a lot of parents rely on that for childcare during the summer months. Can you just give us clarity as to where you see that going? Is it going to be something that's going to happen, or do we have any direction at all yet?
We have to wait for final direction from the state, but as of right now, Governor Burgum's order is that schools will not be in use for the summer. And since CLC is a school-based program, unless there would be a change in that, where there would be, and that then would affect our summer programming for all of our summer school at the secondary level, middle school and elementary. I've not seen official notification yet from DPI on that. Did you get anything today?
No, but they sent out a message yesterday saying we'd get guidance tomorrow, possibly.
I just wanted to address it because a lot of people rely on that for their childcare.
Absolutely.
So those people need to be paying attention to what's happening on the state level and then possibly finding an ulterior childcare. So.
Our hope is that, in general, the way our summer school program goes will be the direction that our CLC program will go. And if we do not have summer programming in person, we won't be allowed to have CLC. And the sooner we can share that information, the better we will be. So we're hoping that tomorrow we will get the final guidance.
Laura and Mitch, are you both good with this also?
I am.
Okay, very good, thank you. We will continue on then,
Okay.
and go into graduation update.
Probably
Kim,
never-
are you gonna take this?
Yeah, you've probably never been so happy to hear from me at a meeting, huh?
Yes.
Well, a short 24 hours ago, I think was about the time Kirsten Baszler was giving us some direction that we could, following the guidance that they sent out, and I think we got a copy to all of you. District by district, decide if we would like to do, what kind of graduation would we like to do? And I'll tell you, leading up to yesterday, when we didn't have that green light, our principals at Magic City had done a lot of, maybe planning for a virtual graduation and bringing kids in small groups, and but they've been working hard on this. They also had 6 different focus groups of students come in to talk about just solely graduation. And without question, our students wanted something where they can be together. I mean, that's, I guess that probably wouldn't surprise anybody. So, knowing that the guidance that we received yesterday said, part of it is you take into your account your community. Ward County is a really low incident, county right now, and it would be our desire to give students a socially distanced graduation. And we're excited about that. There's a part of that that's daunting in terms of, in the middle of this global pandemic, we're gonna be going first to bring 1,000+ people together if we can do it. In the 24 hours we've had, we're looking at kind of trying to figure out all our options. Again, prior to getting the green light, we really had talked about, could we do something at Dwayne Carlson Stadium? Many students had talked about the fairgrounds and, or the grandstand, and then we had kind of our virtual plan. So right now, we're still trying to crunch numbers. We do have a seating plan from for the grandstand. We have, our principals were out this morning doing measuring at Dwayne Carlson Stadium. We could get all our students on the field. It would take the entire field to get 400, 440. Every year we have some students that choose not to participate, and I'm not sure if this year that number would grow. There might be some people that would be concerned. So it would take the whole football field, and in the stands, if we follow this guidance, which is they said 2 rows empty between every row of seats. We don't even think we could get 1 guest per graduate into the Dwayne Carlson seating. So there, that could be a possibility, but likely no spectators in the stands. I don't think it would be fair to say we'll have a lottery and some of you can have 1 person there. And we've talked a lot about, streaming it, having big screens in a parking lot somewhere. So in 24 hours, we've kicked around a lot of things, and we really hope to land on something tomorrow. And we really hope that part of this guidance is, all of the social distancing that they recommend, and we would really need our community to continue to be North Dakota smart. It will take an army of people to do whatever it is we're going to do. And I know high school principals spend months planning graduations, and we are not going to be planning this graduation for months. And I guess the one thing I think we're pretty certain of is if we're going to do an outdoor graduation, and I think there's a reason you don't see those in North Dakota, and that's because of weather. They happen all over the country, but not in our state. We would like to propose that we have 3 dates. One of them might be our original graduation date, maybe, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And on Monday, when we have a better forecast, select which date we look like we would be using. The other thing is then you have alternative plans, and we can't bring our class size indoors anywhere that we can figure out. We have, I'm quite certain we probably have the largest graduating class in the state at over 400. But we don't have the largest venues in the state. You know, I know that Mandan and Bismarck are both looking at graduations on the field. You know, Bismarck's got 3 graduating classes, so they'll have 3 different groups, smaller groups of kids that come in. They've got seating on both sides of their football field. So I think that we just have a few more issues with the size of our graduating class, which then, of course, goes on to the number of guests that we can invite, so. And we would love to have an opportunity to invite every student to invite 4 people.
And we would still live stream, so
Yes.
those that couldn't be physically at graduation would have the opportunity to still be a part. But, yeah, then it is, and I shared that with Superintendent Basler before the final decision came from the governor's office, is that, you know, with nearly 450 kids, I believe we're looking at graduation, that's a lot of people to get in one spot. And we're not the biggest school district in the state by any means, but, you know, when you take the fact that we have 1 high school and Bismarck has 3 high schools, you know, their graduation classes are significantly smaller than ours. So you can social distance a little better when you have fewer kids. But, yeah, I just have been so pleased with the work that has been done by the secondary group to move this work forward. They've really taken into consideration what the kids want, which I think is important. So I would anticipate they'll be ready very soon to make the final determination, but we got things that we have to check too to make sure that we're meeting all the requirements and we're doing right by everybody involved.
Board members, questions or comments at this time? Mr. Lyman?
Mr. President, I love this, that we're trying really hard to have something where they get together. Well, I would love to be able to, you know, follow the spirit of the law and not have to follow down to the inch of the law. Let's not let, you know, 5 feet and 10 inches say, well, that's not 6 feet. Or let's not let some of these other things hold us back. I'm guessing that there will be some real good excitement, some good hope that we can provide these kids. It will be sure nice to see. I love that we're trying everything. I mean, some farmers' field. I mean, I don't know, those fields get pretty big. I mean, you get a lot of cows out there. How many people can get out there? I
I'm
don't know.
going to tell you right now, as a
10,000?
farmer and a rancher, those fields are really, really wet. Just
Give it a week, right? Just something where there's an opportunity for them to get out there and mom or dad or somebody to cheer them on. We're not talking about obviously shaking anyone's hand. We're not talking
Right.
about, I mean, this could be a 25-minute ceremony.
No, it's still a lot of people to get in and out, but,
We're gonna have them stand up and wave their cap when their name is called, type of thing. or-
you know, it kind of depends on where we're set up. You know, I think that if we are at Dwayne Carlson, that would be probably what we would do. If we are at the grandstand, we think we can, you know, that's set up for racing right now, but we think we could make something work where we could, you know, escort students down and they would walk across, pick up their diploma, so everybody could see them.
off of the table,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, we wouldn't be handing them out, but we, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea. I mean, 3 or 4 weeks ago, none of us thought we'd ever be this great, this
Right.
close. But let's get this across the finish line. Something where they can feel, you know, some sense of completion, some closure. I think that's going to be great for some of these kids. They've earned it. They've deserved it.
While they maybe didn't look at a field, they did look at parking lots and things, you know, just your very concept, you know.
Anything.
Anything that's
outside
happening,
of the
so
law.
they've already
We
considered.
looked at a
things
really
like that.
large parking lot, and if it came down to that, that might be an option. But when it's all one level, the farther back you get, you are probably going to see a lot.
Now, the airport's not very busy. Can we do it on the runway? Have people hang out, you know, on the jetways? I mean, something crazy, right? There's got to be something out there.
I suppose where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Yeah, it's exciting to know that we're closer and it's a good possibility. So that's nice to hear.
Board, further, Ms. Schuler?
Thank you, Mr. President. So the focus groups that met involved students and parents, from what I'm hearing?
Just students.
Just students. What do the students want? Because honestly, this is their graduation, this is their class. And I remember when I was this age, and we probably all remember it, while some parents want to say that, it's important for the parents, the kids want to be with their friends. So what are the kids saying? Because
Well,
I want to give them what they want.
Right, that's why we did the focus groups. I can tell you early on, I was in a superintendent's meeting, and, one of the soups said, we talk to kids, and if they can't have their normal graduation, they don't want one. And I said, we need to think about what do our kids want. Well, hands down, they want to be together. 6 feet apart, but they want to be together. So that's, when we got the green light yesterday, that was the first time we heard that would even, could potentially be a doable, even though we've been thinking about that. So, yeah, that's what the kids want, to be together.
And I would hope, if you don't mind follow up, but that we as a community make that our main focus then, is to make sure the kids can do this together if that's what they want. So if that means we have to limit, yes, it's unfortunate, but it'll be live streamed so people can see it, and maybe it's limited to who can come to it. But again, we want to focus this on what these kids want, because they've had to make some big caveats this year.
Yeah. And I think that, again, we will really rely on our community that are the guests to follow the expectations of, families can sit together. So if you have, just for an example, let's say that, you get 4 tickets, your family members could sit together, then there needs to be 6 feet of space before the next group would sit together.
Virtual board members, any other comments or questions you have?
This is Laura, and I just want to say how much I appreciate in what you have been doing, to try to make this big event happen. And it'll happen. It's going to be different, but it'll happen.
Yeah, and the Magic City principals have just been fantastic. They are, a lot of our conversations in our meetings always come back to Magic City, because we know that of all the kids whose worlds have been rocked in this, it's our seniors that have had the most impact, the most change.
Anything further, board members? I think both Mr. Lyman's and Ms. Schuler's comments are very appropriate, and I agree completely with you that, it is so important that it's their day. So I think they should be our focus, and I'm sorry, but the guests will have to be limited, very limited, because of, as Dr. Ballmer said, our numbers for graduates, and with that, I think we still need to really focus on our seniors and do something for them and make it work. And how you say within hopefully a couple of days or whenever?
We like to think by tomorrow.
Okay.
We've got it done. If I said that the Magic City people and I were scrambling today, that wouldn't be an understatement. But I also said I'm not very spatially smart, so some of it is just crunching numbers to say how many exact seats can we have at each venue.
Do I understand right, the board still has to approve this?
No,
No?
no,
Okay.
we've always had, in the guidance, the recommendation always has been, some school districts have the board do it. Graduation has always been planned for by school district administration, so we would,
Please keep us
yeah.
Can you
immediately
live with either one of
texting.
those? Because right now to do a distance
Yeah.
graduation, it would either be Dwayne Carlson or the grandstand.
Yeah.
And, I guess if something suddenly came into the mix, we'd certainly let you know.
I'm comfortable with either of those venues, and having worked with the state fair administrators before, they've been very accommodating, and I see no reason they wouldn't for us also. So
They were very gracious when we started having conversations this morning.
yeah, I would say whatever gives us the biggest. Ms. Schuler.
Thanks, Mr. President. Can I make maybe just a suggestion, and I'm sure it's probably been addressed, but if we do plan for 3 potential dates, there may be a chance that we don't know, how this community is going to continue to be impacted by COVID-19. Maybe we see a resurgence or insurgence of cases here, and we can't see the future. So there may be families who say, you know what, this is still important for my family, this is still important for my graduate, but I don't feel comfortable with them attending. or we don't feel comfortable attending. So I would hope that we would at least have another plan for those who can't attend or won't be able to attend to maybe video stream them picking up their diploma early so we can show it inside the actual ceremony. So we include those students as well. I'm just making a suggestion to make sure we give everybody.
I don't know that we'll have any screens available at the actual ceremony.
That's unfortunate.
But could be added to the video that's done for the students after.
Yep.
Just so that we're including those students, because we don't know what the future holds. And if there are families that come down with illnesses, or families who maybe have immune-compromised members, or students who are immune-compromised, they may make the decision to not attend the ceremony. But we don't want to make it any less special for them. So if we can provide them a backup plan as well.
And we have, like I said, we have, a handful of students every year that don't want to participate for whatever reason. And that number may grow this year based on, concerns, so. So yeah, we're gonna try to make things special. Kids picked up their caps and gowns yesterday. And we'd already talked about, before, when we weren't sure if we could do anything, we were gonna say, we'll be available for, socially distanced pictures or whatever, but,
I think we'll rely on our administration to see where we're at, and as we get closer, and you will have a good idea by then, and deal with it appropriately.
right.
With
Dr.
one
Ballmer?
specific caveat, and it's in the graduation plan, and I just want to make it very, very clear. If we would see an incredible uptick of cases in Ward County or in the state of North Dakota, it could, at any given time, the Department of Health could say, no, we're not willing to run the risk, and it would all be off. So just making the decision, we still are going to abide by whatever recommendations come from those people who are in the know. So.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, and thanks for your work on a really tough subject.
It's important every year, but
Yes,
this
it
year
is.
it's even
This
more
is
so.
different set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, and we will move on then. Board consent agenda.
So moved. Lyman.
Schuler, second.
Okay, moved by Lyman, second by Schuler, to approve consent agenda. Any questions here? Roll please, Mr. Moe.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Frosted.
Yes. Number 7, new business, item A, new teacher report number 3.
Yes, Katie is going to join us virtually here. Katie, are you ready?
Yes, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect. Mr. President and members of the board, you should have received a copy of new teacher report number 3 for the 2020-21 school year. We recommend that you approve that report as presented.
Kraft. So moved. Second, Mahalik.
Okay. Moved by Kraft, second by Mahalik to approve. Any questions here? Comments? Roll please.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Frosted.
Yes. Item B, resignations.
There are 7 resignations for you to consider today. All of them are requesting to resign at the conclusion of the current school year. The first request is from Carson Bachmeyer. We recommend that you approve.
Board.
Mahalik, so moved.
Schuler, second.
Moved by Mahalik, second by Schuler to approve. Any questions here? Comments? Roll please.
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Frosted.
Yes.
The next request is from Mattia Gelstead. We recommend that you approve.
Lyman. So moved.
Schuler, second.
Moved by Lyman, second by Schuler to approve. Any questions here? Roll please.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Frosted.
Yes.
The next request is from Ashley Gruna. We recommend that you approve.
Mahalik, so moved.
Kraft, second.
Moved by Mahalik, second by Kraft. Any questions or comments here? Roll, please.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes,
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Crosted.
Yes.
The next request is from Tasha Jacobson. We recommend that you approve.
Lyman, so moved.
Schuler, second.
Moved by Lyman, second by Schuler to approve. Any questions or comments? Roll, please.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
yes,
Kraft,
Yes.
Crosted.
Yes.
The next request is from Tiana Olson. We recommend that you approve.
Schuler, so
Mahalik,
moved.
so moved.
Moved by Mahalik, second by Schuler to approve. Any questions or comments? Roll, please.
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes,
Crosted.
Yes.
The next request is from Amanda Pellerino. We recommend that you approve.
so moved. Mahalik,
Second. Lyman.
Moved by Mahalik to approve, seconded by Lyman. Any questions or comments? Roll, please.
Mahalik,
yes,
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Crosted.
Yes.
And the final request is from Aaron Schmidt. We recommend that you approve.
Schuler, so moved.
So moved.
Moved by Schuler, seconded by Kraft to approve. Any questions or comments? Roll, please.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
yes,
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Crosted.
Yes. And apparently we have a child rearing leave request. Mrs. Dahl?
Yes, Mr. President, Allison Johnson has requested leave for child rearing for the 2020-21 school year. We recommend that you approve.
Schuler, so moved.
Lyman, second.
Moved by Schuler, second by Lyman to approve. Any questions, comments? Roll, please.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
yes,
Kraft,
Yes.
Crosted.
Yes. Item D, Head Start, Early Head Start, COLA.
We have Karen Knowles with us. Karen, are you able to get on?
I am on, can you hear me?
There you are. Say, I do want to let the board know that, just for a point of confusion, to clear any confusion, that there are two specific items that Karen needs us to address tonight, and they both look like one document in the board packet, but both are on that individual packet. So just so you're aware, if you have any questions, and Karen, it's yours.
Okay, thank you. In December, when the federal budget was finally approved, there was a 2% cost of living adjustment in there for Head Start. I have applied for a grant to put that 2% on staff wages and permanently increase their wages by 2%. I just need a approval for that grant application.
Schuler, so moved.
Lyman,
Second.
second.
Kraft.
Moved by Schuler, seconded by Kraft to approve. Any questions or comments here? Roll, please.
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
yes,
Crosted.
Yes. Item E, Head Start Quality Improvement Grant Application. I assume Karen Knowles once again?
Yes. Me again. So also in the federal budget, there was quality improvement money for Head Start, early Head Start to put towards anything that you might need to improve your programs. There has not been quality improvement money for Head Start for, I think, 13 years, so this was a nice surprise. The plan for the quality improvement money, if it is approved, is we're going to take the one last open space, classroom space in the Head Start, in the main center, and open a Head Start classroom and reduce class sizes from 18 to 14 or 15. That's what we're going to do with the Head Start money. The early Head Start money, we're finding a lot of kids are coming in with some sensory issues, so we're going to buy age-specific sensory equipment and materials for infants and toddlers. And then also, I had noticed this since I started this, just never been able to do anything about it, is the Head Start teachers who have a AA make about $1 more than the early Head Start teachers with the same degree. And so with that money, I'm able to bridge that gap so they're all making the same money per hour. And I just need the quality improvement money grant approved.
Board?
So moved. Mahalik?
Moved by Schuler, second by Mahalik to approve. Any questions? Roll, please.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Rosted.
Yes. Item F, Head Start carryover TTA funds.
So with the cancellation of our national conference, where I was going to send 9 staff, and the cancellation of our state conference, I have a little over $16,000 left in my training money that can only be used for training. So I'm going to request at the region level that funds be carried to the 2021 program year to be used for training on trauma, mental health, anything to help recover from this COVID. And I would just need approval for the carryover request.
This is Lyman, so moved.
I think Kraft made the motion.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to hear, but
Moved by Kraft, second by Lyman to approve carrying the funds over. Any questions on this? Roll, please.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Rosted.
Yes. Is that it for you then, Karen?
I do want to let you know that we are getting some funds from the CARES Act to help do some recovery from the COVID. And we're looking at how to use it right now, but one big gap that we noticed was technology for support staff. And we didn't have too many requests from parents, but we didn't have any tablets to provide for parents. So that's going to be one of the big purchases. But to let you know that there will be funds from the CARES Act that we're going to get. And you don't have to approve it. I don't have to write a grant or anything. They're just giving me the money.
Okay.
I just got to say which line item it's going to go to and hit submit.
So in other words, we'll take the money and run.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I'd just like to comment here, Monday morning, Karen and her administration staff, along with her policy recommendation group, we had a conference call with the administrator for Head Start, and I was very proud, and my hat was off to Karen and her entire staff that participated. And I thought the question and answer session went very well, and I thought all our staff was well prepared for it, and just want to say great job to you and the entire staff, Karen. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate your support in coming. 4 days down, one more day to do it, gone, and then the federal review will be done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to CLSD grant award.
yes, I just wanted to let you know that the grant committee wrote the CLSD grant, which is, I guess it could be said it's a carry or an addition to or on top of the Striving Readers grant that will actually be in the 3rd year of the last of 3 years next year. The grant committee wrote for literacy advancement in all grade levels, and that goes from kindergarten or pre-kindergarten, really, birth on to grade 12. We had asked for a little over 9 million. We didn't get that much. We got 3.2 million offered to us over a 5-year period. Now we'll have to start looking at how that money can be used to advance our literacy work in the district. So just a heads up for you, I guess, we're going to ask that you approve the acceptance of the CLSD grant. It is not necessarily a requirement that you do so, but we do ask that you approve it. It will be a definite help over the next several years as we continue to look at issues that affect literacy for our kids. So it's an exciting grant, and we're very pleased with our grant writers. And even though it wasn't as much as we wanted, it's still a very nice gift over a 5-year period that will do a lot to help kids. So we ask for your approval.
Board.
So moved.
Second, Schuler.
Moved by Lyman, second by Schuler to approve. Any questions or comments here, board? I think this is great that we continue on our reading program and improvement for all our kids. So great to hear we were approved and 3.2 million is still substantial. So
and it's always interesting it's always interesting too when they offer grants up. Most of our literacy grant opportunities in my career have always been for the littles, early elementary. This grant specifically talks about literacy advancement through high school and a focus on preschool. And we know the more we can do to help kids be prepared at each level, they do much better when it's time to transition. And you've all heard me say this a million times, but in Minot, we have one more transition than most school districts do because we have a 10th to 11th grade transition, and those are tough on kids. They're even tougher on kids that struggle academically or socially, emotionally, and so it's a nice opportunity that will give the district some exciting opportunities to move advancement of language arts and all of that forward. So. And language arts is key when you're in high school. Everything focuses around reading, so it's very important. It's good stuff.
okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Rustin.
Yes. Item H, ESSER fund grant application.
That will be Tracy, and I see she just popped
Yep.
on.
I am. Good afternoon, President Rossett and members of the board. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the ESSER funding, and Karen Knowles talked about the money that they're receiving under the CARES Act, and that's what this ESSER money is for. And ESSER is an acronym for Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief. And this funding is going to provide districts with the relief to address the impact that COVID-19 has had and is going to continue having on our schools. And this includes providing educational services while schools are closed, but also developing the plans when we can return back to normal operations. And our state received an overall allocation of $33 million. And they distributed the funds using a Title I formula. But once the funds are provided to districts, they can be used across the district. There's no restrictions on how that's used. And similar to Title I funding, public school districts are required to provide equitable services to those non-public schools in our area. And so in our district, that's Bishop Ryan and our Redeemers, our district allocation is $1,590,472. And after the money is allocated to those private schools, our final funding is $1,477,617. And the nice thing is that our district has substantial local authority and discretion to use the funds. And they have outlined, there's a great flexibility, and any activities that are authorized under federal programs such as ESSER, IDEA, Perkins, McKinney-Vento, Adult Ed, Family Literacy, all those activities are approved. And then those that are related to COVID-19, such as coordinating emergency response, ensuring preparedness and coordination, purchasing cleaning supplies, purchasing educational technology such as the devices, providing mental health support, summer learning, professional development, and more focus on distance learning. The nice thing about these funds is we have, from going back to March 13th when schools closed, we have until September 30th of 2022 to spend those funds. So we have time, not knowing what we might be encountering over this next time ahead. And our first priority for using these funds in our district is to make programs whole, such as food services and our before and after school program, where our expenses have exceeded what we're bringing in. But we've also purchased numerous cleaning supplies. We've had expenses such as installing a buzz-in system at the district office, setting up secretaries and other office personnel with VPNs to work remotely from home. We are looking at needs for distance learning, such as more technology devices and other resources to enhance our distance learning capabilities if we have to return to this format again. We're going to be implementing an online process to enroll new students. So those are many of the initial ideas that we have identified. Our application will be sent in early next week, and the state is telling us there's going to be a quick turnaround. They want these funds in the hands of districts to address immediate and future needs. So that's just a quick overview of the ESSA funding. So are there any questions about this funding that Mark, Scott, or I can answer for you?
Board?
I would like to just add, anytime we get funds like this, as a district, we always emphasize that they not be spent on recurring costs. Because when that money is gone, then that funding source is gone. So we have, Tracy said, some programs that need to be made whole. The meal service we've been providing has been a phenomenal service, but we're not breaking even on it. This would be an opportunity to make that happen. Same goes for our CLC program. And it's a great opportunity to really help move some things forward. So we're excited about this opportunity, and Tracy came and told us about it, and I said about 5 times, are you sure? Because this just seems too good to be true, but it is a nice opportunity to give us flexibility at a local level to do some pretty powerful things.
And I assume you need a board motion to apply for this, or?
I think it'd be good.
We don't need official approval, but just as with the other, it's nice to have your approval.
Okay.
That we are
I
going to
appreciate it.
apply
Board?
for this.
Motion to approve it. So she's described how we're going to apply.
Yes.
what it's going to be.
Okay.
Schuler, so moved.
Lyman, second.
Mahalik, second.
Moved by Schuler, second by Lyman, to apply and approve application for the grant. Any questions on this? Roll, please.
Kraft,
Yes.
Schuler,
Yes.
Lyman,
Yes.
Mahalik,
Yes.
Rosted.
Yes. I see Sarah Hicks on our screen. Sarah, how are things going for you and your fellow teachers through the coronavirus?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think it's been a steep learning curve, but our teachers, our paras, our custodians have all really risen to the challenge, and it's mostly because they care about kids and they want them to succeed. So that's a wonderful thing. As parents, and a lot of you are parents, having and watching your child learn at home and prodding and nagging your child to learn at home is hard, and it's a different thing. So I commend all of our teachers, our paras, our custodians, our secretaries, all those people who are going above and beyond right now. Very much, they've done a lot of work. And I'd also, if I can take a little more time, as a parent of a senior, this is a discussion we talk about a lot at our house. And I just want to commend Kim and Scott Fall and all the people who are working on this, because I do not envy that job at all right now. But I also would like to say, as important as the ceremony is to these kids, and it is, it's important, I just want to make sure we always keep their safety top and not put kids in a possible situation where they worry about that safety. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, and thank you for your double duty and.
It's all part of the guidelines.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know I speak on behalf of the entire board to you and our entire staff. Thank you so much for the job you're doing and rising to the level that you've had to do and still getting the job done, hopefully to the very best of our ability. So thank you, and please all the staff and, as you mentioned, the custodians and all the administrative staff, thank you very much. We're very proud of you.
Thanks.
Board, anything else with Sarah? We've got her on? Okay. And Kim Prey from the base, are you with us also still?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Things okay out at the base, or?
Yes, so yeah, as good as to be expected, I think we could say. And our Minot Air Force Base board, we have our meeting next week. And I know that our students here on base are still loving running out and meeting the lunch bus that drives through housing on a daily basis. And the schools here on the base are continuing to do a great job to stay connected to their students during this distance learning time. So there's a little extra craziness, I think, that goes on with our students because there's a lot of uncertainty with some of the kids who were supposed to maybe move this summer and don't know what's going to happen with that. So having that great support still coming steady from the schools makes a huge difference.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, Dr. Vollmer, anything further, any announcements?
You know, the only thing I have, we'll continue providing announcements as often as we can. For those of you that planned on being a part of graduation, I don't know what that's going to look like right now. You know, in the past, we had all of our board members on stage, and that was a very exciting time. I don't know what that'll look like yet, but as this saga unravels, we'll be letting you know more and more as time goes on. But hoping that if it isn't traditional, that you can still be there that day to honor this group of kids, because it has been a rocky senior year for this group, and we wish them only the best as they move forward. So that's really all I have, other than to say thank you all for your support. When we go through these things, we find out a lot of good and a lot of not so good, and we've got a lot of wonderful things in place. So,
Mr. President,
Yes.
this is Laura. Say, Mr. Vollmer, Dr. Vollmer, how about the Adult Learning Center and Service River Campus?
you know, they're on my list of people to contact. I have not heard specifically, maybe Kim has some information on Service River Campus. Jennifer, I'll be visiting with in the morning to find out their final determinations. That is going to be a tougher one for them, but I don't know specifically. I will find out and let you know as soon as I can.
Yeah, because those are two groups that those two graduation ceremonies are, you know, really big deals for them too. And I
Yeah.
hope that something can be done for them also.
Yeah.
Ms.
Just
Leslie?
Laura, we have had conversations all along about Service River campus graduation as well. But I'm going to tell you from yesterday's announcement, I haven't talked to Brian yet. We were talking about possibly trying to do theirs in their parking lot. At one point when we were talking about having to go outside, what we need to look at is that in this guidance, we could possibly, depending on how many graduates they have, because it's a much smaller group, we might be able to use one of our facilities like an auditorium at Central or Magic City. We just have to, we will address that. It just wasn't the first thing we were dealing with today, but
Right.
yeah.
No, I was wondering. Those are two special events, and I just wondered.
Thanks for asking. I forgot to mention Service River.
And I'll follow up with Jennifer and let you know as well, so thank you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, Mr. Lyman.
Quick announcement, the Minot Area Chamber of Commerce Governmental Affairs Committee is doing candidate forums next week for school board, park district, and city council. So for those who are interested, there will be, the school board aspect will be next Wednesday at 6. It'll be virtual only, digital only, online only. That's from 6 to 7:30. Thanks to the city of Minot for allowing us to be in their council chambers. And it'll be broadcast, I believe, on Mid-Continent 19, and then on Facebook, and then on probably half a dozen other places. So the typical places the city puts it out, and the chamber will be putting it out as well. So for those who are interested in watching that.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Moe?
Alicia, maybe just remind everybody who's listening that we've set up a whole bunch of different Wi-Fi access points in some different buildings throughout the city, so if people don't have good access, they can drive up to one of our buildings that have access.
We have it called parking lot Wi-Fi. There's 2 right now at Dwayne Carlson is set up in the west side of Perkins Elementary. And we have equipment on order to do a few more sites.
And one on base as well.
And one on base, and that'll be at North Plains. When we have that information, I'll make sure to announce it.
Okay. With that, thank you, everyone, and I think we're doing the best we can under the circumstances we're presented with. So with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I will tell you, every press conference is, we just see changes and recommendations. We're very fortunate. The governor's office has been very